I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, can you see the screen with the navigating the paper trail?
Yes.
Okay, because the bar, it's so funny. I have two desktops and the bar that says sharing screen is on the other one. So, all right, so welcome to the third session for.
I need to ask Lindsay, is it a way to get the slide decks?
Absolutely, yeah, you can get the slide decks. In fact, I can just send out the last three after this one as like a PDF. And of course I'll send the recording as well, but it is nice to just have the decks and not all the talking and stuff. So we'll go ahead and get started. Today we're going to learn about navigating the CBL paper trail, which ties into the last topic, which was connecting to a community partner. It actually all ties in, but I chunked it up and out so that we can have a little bit better time of just understanding the process. So we're going to go with this hiking thing today. We kind of did our welcome activity. I asked everyone what their favorite outdoor activity was, if they had one. So the workshop agenda for today is we're going to talk about the definition of paperwork. So what do I mean when I'm talking about paperwork for community-based learning? Kim, of course, has been doing this a while, so she's a little bit more familiar, but others might not be familiar with the paperwork that's involved. I'll talk about the community partner side. So there's paperwork for community partners. There's also paperwork for students. And then I'll outline all the clear steps and resources, and then I'll send this out as well. I always like to include a quote. So this is from Booker T. Washington. Excellence is to do a common thing in an uncommon way. This quote stood out to me because a lot of the work that we may do is really repetitive, right? And it's really something that we get used to, but just continuing to keep fresh eyes on it and to do it well is always my goal. Okay, so the main parts to CBL, and I should say ECBL because now we are combining the two, but I know you joined this group to really focus on the community-based learning. So we'll first talk about the community partner documents, and then we'll talk about the student required forms. So student docs, community partner docs. Okay, so the community partner documents, when I am approached to either check to see if a community partner is approved already in our system, or if someone says, hey, can you work with this organization to get them approved? What I do is I first go to contract lifecycle management. Today, I'll take you on a tour, and I highly recommend that you follow along. This is just an online district platform where all the data lies for our contracts. It's not somewhere you'd probably frequent. So I'm going to just show you the steps, and then you can always use this presentation for the steps again. I will talk to them about the required documents if they are not currently in the system or if they're lacking something, which I'll go over. And then I'll also tell you who can help with this process, which you can probably guess. Okay, so I want to do a contracts lifecycle management tour. So if you can open another window, I'm going to actually skip out. I'm going to escape out of here. And then I'd like you all to go to the district.maricopa.edu/legal, and I'll go ahead and drop that in the chat here so that you can follow along. As long as you have an MEID and password, you can get into this. Now, you probably not really spend a lot of time on this page, and I don't blame you. It's kind of tricky, but when you get there, go ahead and scroll to the middle and then click on contract lifecycle management, and let me know if I'm going too fast. Most likely, you're going to have to log in with your MEID and password.
In already, but
if you're in already, it's possibly because you've already logged into MEID and you've done your Duo authentication at least once today. If not, go ahead and sign in. And again, this is not a system that you need to learn. I'm just letting you know this is a resource that you have access to. I could easily do it for you if you don't want to be bothered. It's not a big deal, but I don't think a lot of faculty know that you can actually look at this. So everyone there, give me a thumbs up if you have got to this part. Okay, Karen, how can I help you?
I'm just trying to find it on my thing.
Okay, if you want me to go back, I can go back as well.
No, what is the login? It's just
your MEID. Yeah. So, okay. So just to refresh, go to Office of General Counsel. This is the easiest way I find. And then you go to useful links, click on contract lifecycle management, which is a tongue twister. Trying to say fast. And then you'll have to sign in. Then when you get here, you're going to click on view all contracts. So let's say we have this system is for finding out if someone is already in the system. So it's not going to tell you if they're not in the system. In the sense, it's not going to say not in the system. You won't see them. So I'd like you all, if everyone's here, again, tell me if I'm going too fast. In the top right search box, it says text. I'd like you to either write the name of an organization that you want to work with or you do work with, or if you have no clue, go ahead and write Arizona Cardinals, just because I recently got them in. It's very particular to spelling, so make sure you write everything correctly and then hit go. If you hit return, it doesn't respond. You have to actually click on go.
Lindsay, when I was watching the video of last week's or last night,
Yes.
I was going through this, and one thing that I happened to try, which I really liked, was
Yeah.
on that EEPA,
Yes.
able to pull up, all of the ones that filled that criteria, which was kind of cool because I could kind of scroll through without having any idea what I was scrolling for.
Yes. Okay. So you actually just search by contract title and then scroll down.
Yeah. Well, where you put Arizona Cardinals
Okay.
for go, I just typed in EEPA.
Okay.
After I mentioned it, I hit go, and then I got a list of all of them.
That's an awesome idea. Yeah, you can totally do that. I don't think they're going to be in order. I think they'll be in the order that they were. Let's see. But what you could do is click on company name, I believe, and it'll sort by alphabetical order. So yeah, absolutely. That's a great idea. So if that's a good way, if you want to look at EEPA and see who has one, you can certainly do that. If you're after a specific person, so well, just for purposes, we'll do Arizona Cardinals. So let's say you're like, I want to work with the Arizona Cardinals, and I just want to see if they're already in the system as an approved community partner. Type it in, click go. So this is kind of what we were just seeing, but it's very targeted to what we're looking for. And there's a couple of things that you want to look for. You want to make sure in colleges that it says district-wide or GCC. So this was originated by GCC. You want to make sure the company name is what you're looking for. You may have to click on it. And then EEPA, unfortunately, when you click on it, I don't know if you can still see this, it doesn't give you much. It just says who requested that it get approved, but it doesn't give you any contact information from that organization, which is something I would love to see because it could really help. You also want to make sure it's an active status. So as long as it says active here, you're good. And then the renewal type is really important too, because that if it says evergreen, that means it lasts forever until something, if there's a reason that they have to break the contract. So this one's good to go. You can work with them. Another one, let's say like International Rescue Committee, because I know I think you were just talking about them. Again, make sure you spell everything correctly. If you have too many words, you can always bring it back a couple words. So here's another one, right? So even though there's 3 of them, sometimes this happens. Sometimes this system is set up for all the colleges to look at. So maybe one college looks like in 2004 set one up, and then again in 2017, and then again in 2020. So the one thing here that's different in the renew type, you can see this one's evergreen and this is notify staff to renew. So these had an expiration date. So either way, this one, however, is a federal work study agreement. So this, we would just have to check to make sure if you saw this and you're like, oh, I don't know if it's still active because it says notify requester. And let's say the requester doesn't work in the colleges anymore. It's always good to just double check. And I can do that for you as well. So this is how to use this tool, and it can be helpful. It can also be, lacking information, but are there any questions you have as far as just checking to see if the information is here and what you're looking for? And have you ever seen this before? You have, Julie? Okay. Yeah, because you've probably done different contracts.
Well, no, last night.
Just last night. You're like, yes, I'm
But I found
brand.
another contract that the psych department has in the system,
Oh, nice.
and I never knew it was there, so it was cool.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those file folders you never probably want to look at, but it is there if you need it. Okay, so that's how you use contract lifecycle management. So we'll go back to this here. And when I sent these the slide deck out, it does have the steps. So the next slide here, if it adjusts, there we go. It'll have all the steps here. So you don't have to remember all that, but I do like to show faculty just so you can kind of touch and feel and see it, and just to see like how it works. That's all I do. If you ask me, is there an organization that's already approved? I will just pop in there, type them in, let you know, yep, they're active, you're good to go. Or no, they're not. If you provide a contact name, I will work with them. So if they're not in the system, here's the paperwork that gets them into the system. So there's two forms. There's the Experiential Education Partnership Agreement, which is the EEPA. This serves as a memorandum of understanding. It's essentially an MOU, MOA. So there's dates on it. It's a binding agreement, and then the organization will sign here. And then when everything's signed from them, Maricopa Community College District will sign here, and then it will go into the system. I send a copy back to the organization just so they know that it's been approved. Now that was like the very smooth, easiest version. If something happens where they have their legal department read the language, they don't like the language and they want to edit it, they'll go ahead and still send it. And then we send it to Maricopa College Legal District, and they'll kind of work out the bugs and make sure it's a smooth copy for them. So still can make it happen. I have submitted a lot of these and I have yet to see one just not work at all, unless the organization never signed it. So I've never had an issue from district side not approving something. So that's hopeful. And then the certificate of insurance is not necessarily anything they sign. It's something they just have provided from their insurance provider that just kind of shows their limits of insurance coverage. And this is important because we want to make sure our students, if they are, especially if they're going in person, that if anything happened to them while there, whether it was an act of God or if it was a risk situation or workman's comp situation, that they have coverage for those students. Any questions on those? Because those are the nuts and bolts really of how to get a community partner approved. It's not as lengthy of a process as you would think. It just depends how long the length comes in as far as signatures and who needs to see it, and from the organization side. From my side, it's actually fairly simple. All good? Okay. Super fun stuff. Okay, so who can assist? So I am your main contact person here at GCC, which is so great because I feel really comfortable with the paperwork, with the system, with working with community partners as well. So I'm happy to do that. What I do is I collect the information from the community partner. I get signatures on the correct paperwork and a copy of the certificate of insurance, and then I send it to our business services contact, who will then send it and route it up the chain to district. And legal and risk, I can't remember how many signatures she said. It's dynamic forms for the whole processing of it, and I think there's like 6 signatures. It's a lot, but we have a really good partnership with our business services, and it goes fairly quickly. So that's good news. So once you get your partner approved, you're ready to begin PAIRS. Now, PAIRS is that funny acronym where it's misspelled from the actual fruit, but PAIRS stands for planning, action, reflection, evaluation, and sharing. All of these steps, as far as getting your community partner approved, is in the planning section. It's a huge part of the planning section, because once you get your partner approved and you've got a project kind of idea started, then you can really start to put all the logistical details and get things on calendars, and then you're ready to go to the action piece. So that is the main gist of the community partner paperwork. Any questions or comments on that? Is this interesting or is it super lame?
It's good. It's good.
I always love a good acronym.
Right? I know. I love puns too, but haven't found a way to slip one in it. Okay, so that was community partner information. So now we're going to go to the student information. And this is a little more relevant to you in the sense that this paperwork you can actually house and store and organize yourself. And I'll give you the dates for the upcoming workshops that our IT person has put together. So the required documents, we'll talk about those, and then who can help, of course. So here's the required student docs. You may have already known this because you've done projects. I am letting you know that they do get updated. This was something that I learned when I first started as well. The district will post them on that first website that we saw, the Office of General Counsel. There's links to different websites and they will update it, but we don't always necessarily know. So every now and again, I'll go in and I'll check to see if there's a newer version. There are paper versions. So if you feel more comfortable with paper, you can totally do that. Or there are the digital forms. The code of conduct is actually a form that we made here at GCC because we feel it's very important for our students to recognize that they're representing GCC. I help students in internships that just come through our doors, but if you want to use it, it can also be used through the classroom outlet for internships and for community-based learning as well. So there's also a performance release form, and that, although it's optional, it's advisable to sign, especially if you want to get photos while you're at the site. Anyone that's in a photo has to have a performance release form. Or if you want to, let's say you do your community-based learning project and afterwards you want to get quotes from students and maybe put like a little either slideshow together, or you want to put a newsletter out, you just want to make sure you have permission to use their words and that sort of thing. So who can help? Currently it's me, the experiential learning coordinator and community-based learning coordinator. Go ahead.
So you had code of conduct on that last slide. Maybe I missed that. Do they have to, I mean, is it just like they're abiding by the GCC code of conduct, or is there something special to sign?
This one, so again, we made this here through career services for the students that go out on internships that I work with your office. This is not something you have to send to your students if you don't want to, but it's not, I mean, it's technically tied to the code of conduct because that's what the students are held to, but it's just a summary maybe of the points that for students, how we wish for them to represent GCC. You know, it's and I can actually show you those. That might be really great, especially if we have some time here in a second. I can show you all the forms. What I want to do actually is have you all sign the forms. So I want to take you through each of them so you can see what the students are going through, and then we'll see what the faculty side will do. So you'll get to see here in just a second. So again, the help will be from me and then also from our IT department, who can set you up with the dynamic forms folder. And raise your hand if you have not heard of dynamic forms. Okay, cool. I know there's like DocuSign and Penguin something, like there's different platforms. So wanted to make sure. So this information was actually provided to me from our IT person. Her name is Carrie Sisson. You probably have worked with her. So you'll want to go to dynamic forms and log in. There's a couple of things you have to do. You have to make sure you've logged in before and that you've also done FERPA training. I think those are the two things. You can email me. I just realized that my email has an extra C, so don't follow that email. I'll update it. And request your name goes on the list. So Carrie, what she'll do before she does a presentation with you is she'll actually go in, request from district that they allow you to have access. So you'll get a verification email from Carrie that your account's been approved, and then you can just log into dynamic forms and make sure that the forms that I just talked about are available. Then all you would do is share those links with students and then complete the forms. Completing the forms is almost like a receipt. Like, okay, I see it, you filled it out correctly, done. That's all it is. And then you can save it. Any questions? Okay. This was a slide that Carrie actually provided because some people ask, why does it take so long? And her explanation is that the process takes a little bit of time because she has to go into a system and hand search if a member already has access. I guess it's not super user friendly. And then she has to contact district to make sure you can get added. And as you know, things don't always go super quickly, so it can take up to a week. Then she'll build you an organization folder, which just means that it's a folder assigned to you. That can take up to a week. And then she just has to duplicate the forms, the 3 forms I mentioned, which are the assumption of risk, the code of conduct, and the performance release form, and then it's ready to use. So that's kind of where the 2 weeks comes in, just in case you'll probably go through this shortly. So we're gonna actually do some hands-on understanding of what the forms are from a student's view, and then I'll also show you from a faculty view what you would do to actually complete it. Okay, so I'm gonna drop in the chat here. I gotta escape real quick so I can grab my link. Okay. Also, side note, if you are on campus, you should come to the career services office. We've decorated the office as Whoville, and hopefully we're hoping we'll get judged by the enrollment center fund committee. So try that link. I'm not sure. The one I dropped in the chat. For some reason that doesn't look right. So,
Yeah, I'm getting an error.
yeah, it's so weird because see how the link here is gcc.edu and then it copied as that. I have no clue what happened. Let me see if I can go here and just copy. Yes, okay, that should work. All right, technology is a mystery to me. So let me know if that works. It should take you to a form. Pretend you're a student because all these forms are going to come to me. These are assigned links for my folder. And I'm gonna, usually when I send out the link, I will also include information, something like this. So you can kind of see it where I said date range, you can add today through 1 year forward. So whatever the project is, if you wanted to say, just add the semester dates or add, let's say it's a year-long thing, add the whole year. So go ahead. Was everyone able to open it?
I could.
Okay,
Yes, I just got it.
okay.
Oh, wow. Okay, it's self-populated. It's great. Okay,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
Karen, how are you doing?
I think I'm on it.
Okay, cool.
And then do we just put in whatever dates we want to put in?
Yeah, it's just for fun. So why don't you put in today's date through, let's say, May 15th to 2022, just for fun. I'm gonna delete these so you're not obligated to anything. I'm actually secretly signing you up for a Silver Sunday project. And then when you're done, if you can use your reactions, give me a thumbs up just so I know you're done. Okay, perfect. Simple, right? Perfect. Thanks, Kim. I see that live stream thumbs
This is a
up.
real one.
All right. Well, Karen, while you're filling.
Hey, that's amazing. Lindsay, just the fact that this is possible, this is great.
Isn't
Thank
this
you.
great? I know. I pushed for this really hard because I was like, how am I supposed to process all of these for all of the faculty members? Like it's gonna not work out well. People will be frustrated. So I was like, Carrie, can we do individual folders? She's like, let me look into it. And she's so great. She's like, yep. So let me take you through. I'm here on the back end. This is what you would get for your administrator account. And what will happen is Carrie will give you a direct link. I'm going to show you how I get there because I just save a bookmark. So here's mine. I just go straight there. It automatically logs me in. I don't even have to log in, and it should update any forms that have come in. I'll also get an email. It'll say Julie Morrison has submitted an assumption of risk form, and so I can say, okay, well now I know to go to dynamic forms, and I've been alerted, and so now I can see. Okay, so since I sent you the assumption of risk form and it's version 2, it doesn't really matter. I can see that there's been 2 submissions right here, and I'll refresh too, Karen, in case you did yours. And so I'm going to click on that, and I'll show you this is the view that you're going to get. So I'm going to see Kimberly Feld and Julie Morrison submitted an assumption of risk form. There's a couple of things you can do. You can click complete form, see how it comes live. You can also click on the PDF, or you can go to actions and click complete form. So they make it very easy for you to find a way to complete form. I'm going to go to the non-obvious way and click the PDF, just because it doesn't seem like an obvious thing. When you get here, you're going to see a copy of what they did. I'm just checking to make sure that they answered the questions, all the questions, which you have to, but I'm also looking to see if anyone's under the age of 18, because then they'll need a parent signature, and just making sure there's dates. So just letting students know what to put in the dates is really helpful, because they don't always know. So up here, I don't know if you can see, it says action. So I'm gonna still complete the form here. So it's a live open form now. I'm actually gonna, this is just the confirmation that I got it. I just click next. And I don't know if you can see this pop up, hopefully you can. So I can see she signed it, she saw all of it, and it's done. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click view form. So it's saved, it's a PDF, and I'll just download that into my class folder. So let's say you have a class, Kim, what's one of the names of your classes that you do?
Com 100.
So Com 100. So you can make a folder that's Com 100 Fall 2021 or whatever, and just put them in there. So then you have a copy. So that's how that works for the assumption risk. Would you like to see the code of conduct and the performance release form just to kind of go through? Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, perfect. So we're gonna go back to my important links here. I'm gonna drop, so this is a performance release. I'll drop it in the chat. Let me know if you can or cannot access it. Hopefully that's the right one. It's been changed several times this last year, so.
It's still loading, but it looks promising. Yeah, mine opened okay.
Okay, perfect. So, okay, so for this form, see how I have a little instruction? So under event information, select I am for the owner and work that I own is experiential learning. So when you get there, you'll be like, what? And then you can just kind of see. So I always give, it's a district form. I did not create this, so I just make it as easy as possible for students to fill out.
Oh, it worked. Come on.
So Lindsay, this is making me think of our Psych Club advisors. So they could theoretically email Carrie to get their own folder to have this form so that they have all their psych members
Yep.
sign. They can manage it. Okay, I'm gonna.
Yep, it's really, really great. And there's a couple workshops that, so what she'll do is you have this pre-work to do from Carrie, right? Which is to just fill out that form and let her know you're interested. Then you want to attend a 1-hour session and she'll basically go through what we're going through now, but in a little bit more detail. And then it's yours. So you can own and organize and process however you want, which is really great for you, because then you have the paperwork right there. You can say, okay, this student did not turn it in. I wasn't sure, but okay, so same thing. I'm gonna go back to my dynamic forms. Here's the home button. It's just a little house. So anytime you want to get back to the main page. And so I see now that there's 2 more forms. So I'm gonna click on that.
That's weird.
So KF, so if you want to see their actual name, you have to scroll down a little bit more, I believe. Where is it? Oh, right there. So when you actually click, let's do action, we'll do complete form this time. So this is what I see. Just a carbon copy, essentially, making sure it's all filled out. I click next. So this is what you would do as the faculty member. This just means that you saw it and you approve that it was done. And here's the spot where you would download it and save it into your folder.
And I'm glad you showed Kim's because mine auto-filled funny and mine said the name and work is Julie Morrison. So
Yes, I was just gonna say, I saw that. It's totally fine. Even if, so another good point, since you brought that up, is if students submit one, but they're like, oh no, I did the wrong thing, I need to redo it. They can resubmit one. I will still get 2 in the system, or you'll get 2 in the system, but you can just find the error one and toss it and then keep the one that has the correct information. So another cool thing that I was gonna show you, we'll do the last one here in just a second, the code of conduct. Let's say, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna click complete form. Oops, I already did that one. Let me go here. Oh, so Julie Morrison. Okay, so sorry, what is going on? So let's say that I'm like, oh, she didn't complete that correctly. I can actually ask for revisions. And for some reason, I'm not seeing the button right now, but maybe it's this one right here. You can actually ask the student to return for a revision. So you have to click on the PDF version, but like if they just filled it out incorrectly, or let's say Julie Morrison put her name in the description, which sometimes that's fine. It just depends what the situation is, right? So this is saying, let's say Julie, you could actually be the description, because maybe you're doing a project that is like an autobiography or something where it's actually your work and it's called Julie Morrison. So that's fine. We usually use experiential learning or community-based learning or whatever you want to call it, just as a general title for that area. So if I want to return for revision, it directly emails this person. So I'm going to say, I don't know if you can see this window, it says, please revise. I can say, hi, Julie, like, please update your experiential learning section from your name to experiential learning. So it'll go directly to them, and it'll give them a link to just go right back to dynamic form. So, okay, we'll do one more. So this is the code of conduct, and I'll drop it in the link here. So you can see it's really easy for the student. It really prompts them to just kind of follow the link. So Karen, I really want to see yours come through this time. So let me know if you have any questions.
Oh, I thought my other one did come through.
Let me check.
This one didn't work. The second one didn't work because I got this funky thing when I,
Oh, okay.
but
Okay, let me
I think the first one should have.
Okay. Yep, it did come through. That first one did come through.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, this one won't let me do it. So,
This one won't let you? Okay.
no.
Kim or Julie, are you able to get on this one?
Yeah, I'm on. Yep, it's letting me do it.
I'm gonna try again.
Okay, so take a look too at what it actually says, because I know the other ones, it's just jargon, but so you can see, Julie, the code of conduct. It's really just reminders, show up on time, dress appropriately, those types of things.
It's really good. This is great.
Thank
Yeah, 'cause
you.
it just
Yeah.
lists what professional behavior looks like.
Yeah, and Izell and I created it just because we wanted students to not feel like if something did happen, they said, oh, we weren't told, or we didn't know, or we weren't trained or coached. So we're like, let's just make it and write it out, and just so they know kind of, if they've never had a job, it's hard to just expect them to know all that.
Mhm.
Would you ever have students say, all right, mine is not online, so why am I agreeing to online standards?
I think it's I can't remember, is it required to do the online?
It's got a little red asterisk.
Okay, it's probably just because with the the times that we're in with the pandemic, it's highly likely that you'll do some component online, whether it's the interview, whether it's the evaluation, maybe you're sick and you have to just call in one day, or it's just kind of to cover the bases.
I mean, I can't imagine students saying I refuse to fill it out because there's an online portion, but I was just wondering if anyone say, well, why am I doing the online part if I'm going for an hour to an on-site location?
Yeah, and that's a good question. I guess if they refuse to sign it, we can set up a meeting and chat with them and see what because usually there's another reason for it. Okay, so I see here, we'll go ahead and go through this and then we'll wrap up because time has flown. I hope this has been helpful, but so I'm going to show you what the performance release form, again, very simple. It's very repetitive steps for you as an instructor, but again, it's all going to be in your digital files, which I think is highly
You mean the code of conduct one, not this one?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did the wrong one. Yeah, all of them will be at your, why am I forgetting words? Disposal. Here we go.
Oh, that one worked. It won't let me do it.
It won't let you do it. Okay, no worries, Karen.
Oh, because of the signing thing.
It could be like the cookies or security settings on your computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have the form. I can see it and everything, and I just won't let me sign it to submit it to you.
Okay. No worries. If you do, I mean, if you do have students have that issue too, you can always have them come into the career services or high tech one, and they can fill them out there too. Okay, so this is what this looks like. It just shows everything filled in. I can see the initials and the signature. So I'm gonna go ahead and click next. I could also return for revision if I saw something, but since it's all required, it's hardly, it's not common that you'll see that. So, and you can save right there. All right, so great job. Just participating and kind of seeing what the student's view is and the faculty view is. And we'll jump back into our presentation. I know we only have 10 minutes left. We're almost done. So just wanted to show you these steps are in here. So when I do send you this presentation, you can actually kind of follow it one by one. You want to check to make sure that there's any new forms. You can complete the form by these 3 steps, and it has kind of a little picture for you. Follow the steps, it'll just prompt you to click next, and then use the home icon to return. And you just remember, you can always download them. Oh, if you don't want to download them, let me go back real quick. They're just going to be here. I like to have a download just in case anything happened to this system. So they're all right here. So let's say we go into processed. The top one should be the one that I recently processed. So you see right there, Kimberly Feld, that was today, and it's processed. So just a note, if you're not interested in downloading, I do highly recommend it. Just because it's not connected to the Maricopa colleges, it is an outside platform. There's a little bit of a delay, I think, in my computer. Okay. All right, so to return for revision, it just kind of walks you through again those steps. So this is just a written instructions for you. And then I always end the presentations with these resources just to let you know that you are in our thoughts as far as how can we support you. If there's anything there's any gaps or anything, let us know. But you can come to career services for help with paperwork, which is the topic of today's session, with partnerships. If you don't know where to start, we can even help you find partnerships or brainstorm partnerships. We can help you get the paperwork. We can also help you with activities. So the next session we'll do is how to integrate ECBL into the classroom, and that'll kind of tie all of these things together. There's going to be a website for faculty. It's going to be here in the spring of 2022. And that'll be an intranet site where you can click on different pages for different ECBL. So there'll be a page for service learning, for volunteerism, for internships, for community service, those types of things with different resources. There's also professional development. This is one of those opportunities. And I will, in the email follow-up to this meeting, I will go ahead and include the meetings again for everyone for the dynamic forms. I highly encourage you to join one of them. If you can just let me know which one you want to go to, I'll let Carrie know. She'll get your name on the list so that you can get a dynamic forms folder. You can invite other people too. It's much better if she has a larger crowd so that she doesn't have to do them as frequently. So if you want to invite other people who may want dynamic forms. And then we do have an ECBL committee on campus. And so, really just having those champions within the departments to help promote this work. And we're just so excited that you're doing this work. And so feel free to reach out anytime. You know my number, you know my email. If you're not following us or if you're not a social media person, no worries, but you can also access, I wanted to just show you the YouTube because you don't have to be on social media for that. You can just type in YouTube and then go to GCC Career Services. All of these videos or any ECBL videos will be uploaded there. These particular ones are not, but I do a recording of them separately with no audience. So those are also up there. So any questions? We finished on time, which is so exciting.
Okay, I have a question. How do you, is there a way to sort that list for agencies? So let's say you want to look at all the refugee agencies. Is there a way to sort that list? that you know of?
I'm so glad you asked. So no, you cannot. And that's why I created another spreadsheet. So I can't take all the credit because I have phenomenal student workers and they work tirelessly to make this. So I'm gonna find it real quick and then I'm gonna drop it in the chat. This is a resource I think maybe I mentioned in the last one, but it's the approved community partner agencies. So this one, I'm gonna drop it in the chat just so you can kind of see the difference. So this contracts lifecycle management allows you to just see if they're approved, but it's not going to give you any other capabilities to sort, to find anything. Oh, I think we lost Julie. Yeah.
There's another meeting.
Oh, she has another meeting. Okay, I see her in the shared drive.
Yeah.
So, but you can see here is just a regular Google spreadsheet. Let me know if you have any issues getting in. It should be open, but what our student workers did is we get a list from district and it just, all it has is like a bunch of random numbers and then the name, and the only thing that we really get actually is just the name. So all of these other columns, our student workers go in and just fill them out. So what's really nice about this list is, like you said, Kim, if you want to search something, you can use the Control F button, right? So then you can use the finder. Like, is there one you're looking for in particular? She's cruising, she's looking. So you can see there's another, I just recently helped some other instructors. They wanted to incorporate some component of ECBL into their classes. And they said, okay, well, here's the goals of the class. Here are the goals of the class. And we also want to focus on homelessness. So even though they don't necessarily know the name of the organization, we can go in here and we can type in homeless, or if you want to be specific, homelessness, but usually I use the shortest term. Then we go through and we say, okay, here's one. Let's see what they do. So we can kind of scroll over and see what they do. So they lead the efforts to end homelessness and advocate for safe, affordable homes. So if that interests them, then anything from this list, even though they're approved, it will still require a phone call or some sort of reaching out to the organization with an introduction. So like Kim, if you're trying to reach out, let's say to Catholic Charities, you still have to email them, let them know who you are, what you're interested in doing, and see if they have any opportunities. So you're welcome. So that is really it for today. I really hope that today's presentation was helpful and insightful just to how the paperwork process goes and how to navigate it, because I was told when I originally started, I asked a lot of faculty, what were the barriers? What are the barriers to this type of work? And over again, it was the paperwork and the hoops you have to go through to get things approved. So I'm here to let you know it's simplified. I'm here to help you, even hold your hand throughout the whole process if necessary. If you're more comfortable navigating, you can take some of those steps too. But you should be freed up as the faculty member to do the fun stuff, the creative stuff, and get the students involved. So any other comments? No?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, we've got a couple of minutes, and what I'll do is I'll go ahead and follow up. I'll send you the slide deck, and the recording will be out shortly. So thank you so much. I'll also send the dynamic forums workshops that are upcoming, so you can get in one of those. All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a really great rest of your week.
All right,
Thanks,
you too.
too.
Bye.
Bye.